My body wouldn't stop trembling. Kayla wrapped an arm around my shoulders and quietly asked if I was okay. But I couldn't answer because I honestly didn't know. My mom looked torn between breaking down and exploding. Her hands shook as she kept clenching and unclenching them like she didn't know what to do. My grandparents stood nearby, frozen in shock. My aunt already had her phone in her hand, as if she'd been prepared to call the police at any second. Around us, other families who had been taking graduation photos had stopped and were openly staring. It felt like I'd been blindsided in front of an audience. We went back to my parents' hotel room. At first, no one spoke. The silence was thick and uncomfortable. My grandparents sat on the couch, still stunned. My grandma kept reaching over to squeeze my hand, but she didn't say a word. My dad paced non-stop, moving between the window and the door, muttering about restraining orders, harassment, and how those people had no right to approach me. My aunt kept checking her phone, searching for something. My mom sat beside me on the bed, trying to stay calm, but I could feel her shaking. Kayla texted her parents, both retired, her dad, a former police officer, and her mum, a former therapist. She stepped into the hallway to call them and came back about 10 minutes later with clear, practical advice. Her parents told us to document everything while it was still fresh. They said we should write down exactly what was said, take photos, and gather information from any witnesses. If my biological parents tried to contact me again, having a record of this first encounter would matter. My dad immediately grabbed the hotel notepad and pen. I started writing everything I could remember from the parking lot. What my biological mother said when she first approached, what my biological father said when my dad told them to leave, how she kept using the name from my original birth certificate. I wrote down that they admitted they'd been watching me online for years. My mom sat next to me and helped build a timeline, noting that they approached us right after the ceremony. While we were taking photos, she wrote down that they knew where I went to college and what I was studying. Meanwhile, my dad and uncle went back to the graduation venue. They took photos of the parking lot and spoke to two other families who had been nearby. One mom said she'd heard everything and was willing to write a statement. Another dad said he'd been filming his own daughter and had accidentally captured part of the confrontation on video. Earlier, after the ceremony, we were standing outside taking pictures when a man and woman in their early 40s walked up to us. They stared at me with tears in their eyes. The woman said my name, not the one my parents gave me, but the name on my original birth certificate. I didn't respond. That wasn't my name. She said it again, then told me she was my mother. She said they'd been searching for me for years, that giving me up had been a mistake, and that they were ready to be my parents now. My mum stepped forward and asked who they were. The woman looked at her and said she was my real mother and had come to take me back, as if I were an object that had been misplaced. My dad told them to leave. The man, my biological father, became angry and said they had every right to be there. He insisted that I was their flesh and blood and that paperwork didn't change that. He said they'd spent 20 years regretting their decision and weren't going to wait any longer. He said I belonged with them. I stood there, unable to move, as the two sides faced off. My biological mother